Hey everybody, it's David R. Becker with BeckerArt, and we're here today again to do a wonderful painting that I already did. I already screwed up, so here we're going to make it all better, always in the second time, right? Well, welcome everybody. Welcome all to the newcomers. This is the David R. Becker channel. So what we're going to do is we're going to paint along, and actually you're probably not going to paint along with me, but you are going to paint this cabin in the woods. So here's what we did this afternoon. And so what we're going to do is, there's a couple of things I want to explain to you that I want to do differently. One of them is color. But anyways, I'm going to be doing, in the next week, I'm going to be doing a workshop in the Thousand Islands, New York. And so that's in Clayton, New York. So I'm not sure if we're going to do one next Thursday. If it is, it may be a plein air painting that we'll do. Instead of a paint along, it may be a paint along plein air. So we'll see. We'll see how that works. And then I will be in Syracuse, on the 13th, and I will be at the art store there doing a demonstration. And then on the 14th, I will be in Buffalo, New York at the Hyatt art store. And so both those places, check online and check out my newsletter. And there you can get my newsletter at, here you go, my website, BeckerArt.net. Come down here, and right down the bottom here, you can sign up for my newsletter, and you'll find out everything there is to know about everything I do. All right, so there's my newsletter. Get it, and also you can get the paint alongs up here too. And so anytime you want to know anything about me, come to my newsletter, or come to my website. And I just noticed, I wonder if I changed everything here. Hopefully I changed it and updated it all the time. And so we'll go to our supplies now for anybody newcomers. These are supplies I'm using. I always use Holbein. You know, I love Holbein. And Holbein brushes, Holbein paints. And the paper, of course, is Legion Stonehenge paper. And let me first go back and today's beer is a black, what is it? A black butt raspberry porter. And I'm not sure where it comes from. It comes from Oregon. So it's a raspberry porter. And of course, I'm going to use my glass. And look at that dark, crisp. Whoa, look at that. That's not much I had on there. Oh, I didn't pour that right. So we'll see how that works. Very cold. Cheers, everybody. Cheers to another Thursday night. Let me test that. That's about, I'd say about a 9.5 again. It's very good. Very good. Not at 11. 11 is the top, but I'm close. All right, so let's go to our tabletop. Well, actually, let's go to our value study first, and we're going to see what we're going to do. So here's a drawing. So if you need a drawing, some of you would like to see the drawing a lot of times. And so for that, what I tell you to do is to take it and look at it here. I put it really quiet, and you can stop the video next time. And there it is. There's a drawing I did. So you can do that. And then for the painting I did this afternoon, this is the one over here. And this is the one I did this afternoon. And there's a couple of things you have to look at in this photograph. One tangent I found was right here along the edge of this rooftop here. Don't line up the back of the mountain with this rooftop. Bring it in. And actually this afternoon I'm going to take this out. This little part right here in the back, I'm going to take that out because I don't think that's necessary to have in there. And watch out for this angle on the top of the roof. It's pretty much straight across. And if you're going to see anything at the top of the roof, it has to be, you have to watch out so that you can make this either go across here like that and downwards, or make it just straight like I have here. Just make it straight across. Some people have made it so you can see the top of the roof. You can do that too. That's up to you. And when it comes to the reflections in this water, I like to have a little bit of waves in it. And this is still water, and so you don't get as many reflections. And so it's more like a mirror. So I'd rather have it a little bit more wavy. So as you can tell here, I made it a little bit more wavy. And what else am I going to change? I'm going to be changing the colors. I've been using, I don't want the green. Me and green. So I'm going to be changing the green. And I'm not sure what I'm going to be using there. Probably more of a purplish green or bluish green. I'm just not sure yet. I know that's what it is in the photograph here. It is green and stuff, but that doesn't mean I have to use that. And also, if you look at this, we got all confused about the front of this building. And if you look really close, and I finally put it really close up, this whole wall here is one wall. It doesn't dip back here like I have it in my drawing. I have it dipping back. It really doesn't do that, but I'm going to still do that in my photo because this actually is part of the front of the building. It actually, this railing sits on front of the building, and so this one wall here is all one wall. But if you look at the photo, there's a shutter here that's right in the middle of this line, which looks like it's going back, but it is not going back. But you do whatever you can to make it look good, and I am going to make it look like this. Or I'm stopping it, the railing right here at this point, and then I'm going to put the building in the back. So things like this you have to watch out for before you even start painting. You always make sure that you get your drawing and all those tangents and all those things corrected before you even start painting. So that's what I went through, and I did this painting already, and so hopefully we'll make it look a little bit better than this. It's okay, but I think I can do better. So cheers again, one more time. This is a 9.5 beer, so cheers guys, here we go. It's actually not bad. It's got a little bit of raspberry hint to it, so it's not bad. It could almost be a 10, 9.5, 10. So, all right, so here we go. We're gonna start out with the background, and you notice there are some soft edges here. If you look at the image right here, the photograph, there's a little cloudiness back here, like little clouds coming over there, and I'm gonna keep those soft edge, but the clouds or the mountains themselves are gonna be hard edge. I'm just gonna make them hard edge. So the first thing I'm gonna do is go and do the sky. And I did wipe off a little bit of the, for all the newcomers, what I do is I take a kneaded rubber eraser, a big kneaded rubber eraser here, and what I do is I roll my kneaded rubber across the paper, sometimes to get rid of the graphite. If it's too thick, the graphite, you can keep the drawing, but you can get rid of the graphite that's going to maybe affect the light parts of those washes. And so you don't get rid of your drawing, but you get rid of the graphite, and it gets on top of your kneaded rubber eraser. Anyways, we'll put that back underneath there so you can see things. Let's get the beer over here. I don't want to dip my brush into it. And so I don't care if it's even across. Sometimes you'll put your brush into there. Actually, let's see who's here today. We got anybody here? Anybody listening? So let's see who we got here today. We have Pamela, we have Irene and Maura. And I see there's 16 others of you. You don't have to say hi, but thanks for coming by, guys. And so let's get right to it. So we're going to wet the surface, and we're going to wet the sky. I'm going to go beyond the mountains, because I'm going to do the mountains maybe hard edged, and by the time I get there, it may be soft edged. I may do it after that part dries. Again, it is very hot in my studio. Again, I always forget to put the air conditioning on right before I leave for my class, and so then I have like an hour to clean it up or cool it off, and it doesn't get cooled up enough. So I'll be sweating again here, guys. So here we go. And if you have questions, again, anybody, you're just gonna go over there and ask them on my chat, and I will look over here every once in a while to see if you guys got questions. And for anybody new. So let's go with more of a orange this time. I'm gonna go with the orange sky with right in this corner. I know that it was kind of like light coming from this area, so I'm gonna come with the light in this area. And then I'm gonna do a purple sky. Yeah, me and purple, right? Because I did a blue sky this afternoon, and I can't do the blue sky again. It's against my laws. I can't do the same thing again. So I'm going to do a purple sky, okay? And I know that last week we had a purple and yellow sky, but this is going to be an orange and kind of a purpley sky. I'm going to have the sun coming through this direction. We're going to come this way with the direction of the sun, with the lighting. Maybe I'll put a little bit of that in here. And I know we had a big laugh that I've been doing a lot of yellow skies, so we're not going to be doing yellow sky today. Well, I mean, we were all on the floor laughing. And so we're going to not try to do a yellow sky. We're going to do a purple. I know I did part of a purple sky yesterday, or last week, but this one will be, and right away into the water, because whatever's up here, we're going to go right into the water and put this colors into the water right away. And I make myself a little bit of waves. And I don't know what the color of the clouds or the mountains are going to be yet, so I can't put that color in except for what I already done in there. I'll put a little bit of the orange. Remember I had a little orange in there, so I'll put a little bit of orange in here. Now, one thing I already remember what I did mistake here is I want to make this cloud in here. And so let me just get rid of that real quick. And so, okay. And then we're going to bring this purple down here. And right away go into our waves. And let's put the same color of the I'm going to make the barn on this side of the shack, the cabin. I'm going to make this side the light side, which is see it's lit up on this side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the paint across it quickly, because I want some texture, which I didn't get in this one. And I forgot to show you guys this one. This is the one I did this afternoon. And so as you can see, it is light, and this is a dark side. And this, I put the railing all the way to the edge because it was really confusing what was going on there with the railing. But I just put it all the way to the edge. And it is kind of orange and blue. It was what I used in class today, kind of grays back there. I'm going to make this one a little bit different. Same values, same value pattern, and hopefully the same kind of drawing. Close enough to the same drawing. And then this whole foreground will be darker because it's reflecting what's in the background. Okay, so let's go from there. But this time I want to put a little bit of texture into this, into the cabin itself. And so what I'll do is I'll take the brush across it quickly and even make those lines with my brush so I don't have to actually draw in lines for the boards on the actual cabin. And so this side's gonna be darker, so I don't care what's going on there. And so maybe this, I'll make a little bit of yellow, orange in this way. So the light is kind of shining back here and hitting the back of this cabin. And so I took a little bit of light red, which is kind of a terracotta. I'll put that up here real quick. And so we can do that in the front here. But now I'm noticing that my sky is just plain and bland. And now I noticed there was a cloud right here in the sky. I mean, I want to try something. I want to try to put a watermark there. I want to show you guys that sometimes watermarks are good things. And so what I'm going to do is take a little bit more water. And here it's starting to dry a little bit. So it's going to be a little bit wetter than the surface. So I'll get a watermark there. But sometimes that can look like a cloud. So look at it. I'm just going to let that in there. And I'm just going to let the cloud go. I know Bjorn Bernström does that a lot. He's I think a Swedish or Swiss. I think comes from Sweden, I think. He's an artist from Sweden, and he uses watermarks to his favor to make clouds and stuff like that, and he actually likes the watermarks. So here I'm putting more water in there, so it'll look like a cloud, but it'll have the watermark, and if you wait too long, it will get like this kind of watery edge, this edge that looks not so soft, because what's happening is it's drying, and then you're going to get that watermark, but that can be a good thing. And so there's where I put the cloud right there. And let me do another one over here. Let's take water. What it's doing is separating the water from the pigment and pushing the pigment away from that water. And down here, I'm going to do the same thing, where I'm dropping the water into the wash. It's taking the pigment and separating it and giving me these little spurs of watermarks. But I want them, so sometimes you want them and sometimes you don't. So ask questions. Hey Lynn, hey Maura. So yeah, we all do. She's saying paint variety. We paint a variety of different things here, boy, at the BeckerArt channel here. We do everything, and so I always get suggestions from people, and sometimes I don't. And so if I don't get suggestions, I'll take and I'll just go and look and see what I can think that we can. What haven't we done? What haven't we done in a while? Or so look at those watermarks. Isn't they great? I mean, they look like clouds there. Isn't that awesome? Sometimes they work out well for you, so don't nix watermarks. They're not always bad. So since this is drying and I have to wait for this hard edge to dry, I could make the mountains soft edge, but I want to make them hard, so I'll just wait for that to dry. And then what I'll do is I'll go right into, what else can I go into? I can go into the front here and just get myself some lights in the water and in the cabin themselves. So I got that part. And let's do this mountain. Let's see. Maybe we can do this over here. Instead of, again, I'm not going to be using green. So what do I use? People are asking me, well, what are you going to use on a green tree? Well, I will use a blue, and it'll be kind of green, but I'll be more into the bluish green. And so it'll feel like a blue, like a purple green. Is that possible? And so that what we're going to do is we're just going to make it more of a blue in the blue-purple aspect of the things. And so what I'm going to do is right away go down here and just kind of put some of that in there, get myself and establish some of the color here. And you can go ahead and use green. It's not like a bad color, but I just don't want to use it twice in one day. It's just too much for me. So I'm going to use a little green, but more of a gray green. So this is more of a blue, more of a bluish purple. And I know it's a soft edge right now because it's all wet, but that's okay. I'm just gonna put some blue in there too, some lighter blue. Because you know I like to float my pigment. I like to put all kinds of colors in there. So this is going to be a soft edge, and I'll come back and do a harder edge on that. And this is going to be a little stones up there, so I can make that kind of gray. And then I'm just going to keep some of the light in there. And so when you go back with the hard edges, then that'll show it. Maybe I won't even need hard edges. Maybe a soft edge is better that way. We'll never know. So sometimes you just got to go with whatever you got going here. Just try different things. I always tell my students, try different colors, try different things. You never know. You may find something out that you never would have known if you don't try something different. Sticking with the same colors is, yes, a good thing in the beginning to kind of get yourself known to what colors do, what certain colors do, and what certain techniques do. But after a while, you get to a point where you're then just trying other things besides what you learned. You know, you can always learn as an artist. You don't have to ever stop learning, you know, until you're in the ground, and then when you're in heaven, you can do the same thing. And so you just want to keep on going and trying different things. You never stop learning with watercolor, and as a painter. It's awesome. I mean, that's so cool that we will never stop learning. So here, you know, that's more of a purple and a yellow. So maybe that's more of a, you know, a scene from the fall. And so then the purple goes right down in here. I'm just going to put that right. This is in the water, right? So I'm just going to put that in there. Now I got to watch out. I didn't put this yellow orange in here into the water. So let me do that right away here, because this is going to be some of that color too. Let's put a little bit of that color into the water. And I noticed too this afternoon that I looked at this picture bigger, and there's a bunch of boats back here, which I didn't put into this one. I just left it light over here, and there's actually a bunch of boats over here that are the color of the orange. So what I'm going to do right now is put those in right now too, because there's a bunch of boats back here. They're a little bit lighter than the posts, and they're just going to put these little boats, edges of the boats in there, along with those boats too. But those I'm going to put in later because I want to put the water in there first. I'm just waiting for that part to dry. I'm just going to put these little boats, edges of boats in there. And there, you can tell I'm not drawing very correctly. It's just a dark. And then I got to put this purple. I got to find that purple again. I had that purple and a little bit of lavender here for this part. And then that's going to be over here. Let's put this down here a little bit. I'm going to make that green. It's not a green, it's a blue. A blue with a little bit of blue. And a little bit of quinacridone, just a little bit, just to show a touch of green. Yes, there is yes, there is. Lynn had just asked if there's a train. Yes, it's about a half a block away. There's the train that goes into the city of Chicago that runs by the back of my house, and it blows the horn when it gets to the station here, which is a little town of Long Lake. And yes, she knows that she did hear a train, because yes, sometimes I don't even hear it anymore, because, and actually at night at about midnight it comes through and it shakes the whole house. So yes, there is a train that comes through. So tell your granddaughter, yes, she did hear a train in the video. Sometimes you can hear it. I can actually see it from my studio window if I look out there. Good ears, good ears. So my sound system must be working okay. Cheers. Cheers to your granddaughter. Who she says is 4. All right, so there's the side that we're just going to keep it dark. Nice and dark over there. And now I think this side is dry enough. Okay, let's go in here now and get our mountains. So with the mountains, what I want to do is I want to go from light to dark. And so since this is a soft edge right here, I'm just going to start it over this area, and I am going to use that orange that I used before, and just kind of go up here and just get the top of the mountain, and just go across everything here. Go across the top of the go right through the house, because the house is going to be darker. So don't worry about the house. If any of the children or the grandchildren are wanting to do the paint along, you know, let them watch the video too. I've had some students in my class that have been, you know, young. They've been like, they haven't been 4, but we've had like 9-year-olds, and they actually do a good job. It's amazing because they actually listen. You adults sometimes don't listen to what I'm talking about, but the kids always listen. And so we're going to go through here, and we're just going to put some warm colors in here. And then we're going to go to the cool colors. And then we're going to go into more of a darker color here. A little bit thicker too because it is still slightly damp, and so it's going to have a little bit of soft edge, but I'm going to kind of just outline this a little bit. And then I don't make it that dark, so I'm going to put a little bit of the gray blue in here. Just going to wisp it downwards, and now it is wet as I'm going along here. I'm going to make this a little bit harder edged. And then there's this little cloud in here, and so how do you make a cloud? You guys remember how to make a cloud? Wet in the wet. You know how I am with wet in the wet. That's how you get a soft edge. You just let it do it on its own. You just put water down and let the cloud just happen on its own. Like you saw what I did over here, that put paint in or put water in it and it separated, but it still wasn't so much water, and it was still wet enough that it wasn't making a watermark. Now this is damp, and so you see there's a kind of a watermark here. It's not so straight because it's still damp, and it's going to give me a little bit of that toothiness to it, but that's okay. I think it'll work fine in this area here. So I'm just going to go in here and just make the mountain top here. And again, the less you want it to bleed when it's wet, the pigment is place it on your towel. Here on my towel, I'm just going to, and I get the water out, but I leave the paint in there, and so I'm using pure pigment in a wet wash, and so then I can just control the edge really well because the water's on, and the only thing I have in my brush is pigment. So here I'm going to go downwards with it a little bit, and I'm just going to put in these little bit of ways of I want to make it darker than the building though. I want to make it lighter than the building, so keep it lighter than the building. I can go into the building because I'm going to make the building darker. And as I come down here, I'm going to keep a little bit of this white because it looks like there's a little snow on the ground here. And this is all done with the dampness in there, so there's no hard edges going to be in here right at the moment. Which in this afternoon I did it with a hard edge. See, I did it with a hard edge, so it was really dry before I went back in there. This one you can tell is a little bit fluffier, but either way, do it either way. Wait for it to dry a little bit more, or just do it like I just did it here, and a slight surface of wetness. And so now let's go in there with a little bit more purple. Hi Dave, greetings from Chicago. Hey Carol. Hey Lynn. The other granddaughter who is listening is 8. Oh, cool. And so is she painting? You got to get them painting. Get them painting at 8. They love it. And start them out with good materials. Don't start them out with the kid stuff that you get at like Hobby Lobby or something. Get the good stuff and let them work with the good brushes. They'll make them feel good too. They'll feel like an adult. And I've had a bunch of, like I said, every once in a while I get a talented young kid and the mom asks if they can come and take my class, and I say sure. And we've had some really great students come through there, and we've got some, actually we had them stay for a while, and they've got some great stuff. They really learned how to do some great paintings. Now what I'm doing here is I'm kind of doing this a little bit darker part right here, the little trees, and kind of coming through here. And again, you see how I'm using, and not the green, I'm using a blue, and this is going to be orange, orange and purple is what I'm kind of using. And so I'm just kind of going for that today. And so now within the water, what we're going to do is, here's the shoreline, and we're just going to kind of put that in here, and then just kind of go through here and wet this, and just bring this down through these boats. These boats are going to be darker than the water, so we're just going to go in here now and get some hard edge lines and just bring it down. Now what's reflecting in this water is these mountains are reflecting in the water, right? And so I'm not going to go all the way down, and I'm wisping it across the surface of the paper, which is rough, and that way it'll look like it's shimmering the water, which it can be shimmering. And so this I'm just going to kind of go in there and let that be light, because I'm going to make this dark on top of that. I'm going to keep this part over here light, white, because I think what I'm going to do later, that's supposed to be snow, I think, and we'll just let that be snow. And then we're going to go on to here. And so the cabin, we got that color in here. Now this cabin will be the darker colors. We'll do that later once we do the cabin. And so actually now we can actually do the cabin. Actually it's still a little bit wet there. So let's go over here and let's get in here and do this hard edge. Is that dry yet? Nope. All right, let's go and do this fence then. We're going to go into some details, but I'm going to negative paint that fence in there by painting around the railing. I'm just painting around the railing here. with my 1/4" brush. I'm just kind of going in here and paint around the railing. Ask some questions, guys. Ask some questions. Hope I can meet some of you in Buffalo, New York, and also Syracuse. I'll be there doing a demonstration. There's probably 2 demonstrations at each place. One probably on Yupo and one on probably black paper. And so it should be fun. Should be kind of a good time there. And there's also going to be giving out a lot of samples. So come on by and I'll be giving you samples of the black and of the Yupo. And if you are one of my people that come here and paint with me on Thursdays and stuff, and I know you, I may be giving you a little present from the side. So just come on up to me and just let me know that you paint with me on Thursdays. I'll remember your name. I might get to know everybody who's painting with me on Thursdays. Should the snow be reflected as well into there? Yeah, it probably should be. Yes, you're right. But too late. Too late. Always got to find those things, don't you? I can't think of everything. Okay. Okay, let's go down here and make the post right away. And so let's go down here and do these little stairs. If you can blow up the picture at all, I usually put it on there on the website pretty big. You can get a pretty big size picture of it. And so really look at it and what's going on. A lot of times it's hard to see, if it's a small on your camera. Try to get it to your what do you call it, your computer. And look at it. Look at it from a distance. Look at it really close up. Look what's happening and try to draw exactly what you see. Unless you're changing things, unless you're changing tangents and stuff like that. I'm just going in here and making my dark posts. And there's some dark parts underneath here that have little posts on the side, and there's probably boards underneath here, and so there's all kinds of dark stuff underneath here. And I'm just using it really dark. I'm making some browns and some purples and some black I'm putting underneath there. I'm going to make the light ones, I'm going to rub them out or just put in with paint. There is a couple light ones here, and I tried that in the class, but I'm just going to go for the dark ones right now. And I will reflect them into the water, but not right now. First, I'm just putting them in to where I think they belong, and then I'll put them in a little bit. Because there's these big ones that are in the front that go down a little bit farther. And then we got, even in there, I think there's a bunch of dark back here, so I'm going to negative paint that. I'll negative paint one in here. Negative painting, for all you newcomers, is a way of painting around an object to create the object. So a post that's light, I would paint around it and use the color underneath it to create that shape. So basically you're painting something by painting around it. That's what negative painting would be. And this one's actually light too, but I'm just going to start out with the dark. And here's the stairs. And I'm doing this dark now in detail now because I'm just waiting for this to dry. And so I probably wouldn't normally wait for this all to dry, and I'm doing that first. But we can jump around because, like I said, we only have an hour. Actually, usually less than an hour to get these things done. So, hi, David. Dale and I are enjoying your demo. Thanks. When are we meeting for lunch again? Well, I'm going to be in Dillman's. I will be at Dillman's. I'm not sure if you guys are up north or down here. But if you're up north, I'm going to be up there at the end of July, end of this month, August, and the beginning of September. So I go into September, and I'll be in Hazelhurst probably, and I will be in Minocqua. So I can see you there if you're up there. Guys are up there. Would love to have lunch with you, any of you guys. Now the boats right here, we're going to go in there and get the boats right away. And somebody in class asked, what color should I make the boats? Make them whatever color you want. You have a boat that's red, then make it red. If you have a boat that's maybe blue, silver, whatever, just make it whatever color you'd like. Just look for the values. Look for the values on what the values are. Those are more important than what the color is. I made both these boats red. I'll make a couple over here red maybe. Just so that maybe this fishing dock or whatever they have here. And then I'm going to put the color of the water first before I put the red in the water. I always go with the color of the water first, which is purple here I put in. I'm going to go with the purple color for reflections first, and then I'll put red into that, because first you want to get the color of the water reflected and then the red. I'll just let the red bleed right into that. All right, so now we got the snow. Yes, the snow should reflect in there, shouldn't we? Who asked that again? Sue, what are you saying? I won't be able to paint for a few weeks, but I will be watching everyone's post. Okay. Why can't you paint? We gotta see some swirls. Sue Swirls. Sue Jacobson is a Sue Swirl. She has some great swirls in her paintings. She has a great technique that she won't reveal on how she does it. Okay, we're gonna go through here, do the shadows right away. So I'm still stalling for up here. I think it's dry. Okay, let's go up. Let's go up there. All right, so now, again, I'm not using green. I'm using a version of blue-green. Blue, green, and purple. So it's going to be kind of grayish kind of green. So what I'm going to do now is just draw a little bit of these trees coming in here. I'm using my 1/4" brush, and I used Prussian blue. I used quinacridone gold a little bit, and then a little bit of, what else did I use? Violet. I'm kind of going through here. And at this point, if I look at the picture, there is this little ridge of rocks up here. So I'm just going to put that in there. And I probably shouldn't be using a small brush. It's kind of a waste. Let me use my bigger brush here, a 1/2 inch. I like using flats when I'm doing trees like this because I can put it on the side and I can just squish it in there. Oh, I just went right over the rocks, didn't I? Oh boy, I just went right over the rocks. Okay, let's get those back. I just went right over the rocks here. I didn't see my drawing, so let's put a little white in there. Let's get it back here. There we get a little bit of white. There's my rocks. I got my rocks back. Don't tell anybody I'm using white, otherwise I'll get in trouble. I get arrested with the watercolor police. So put a little white in there, get my rocks back. And now we'll go back and get my trees up here. And I can keep some of them soft edge like that behind that. So that's kind of neat that sometimes you get those little soft edges behind the hard edges, and it'll just give you another dimension. That's kind of a cool thing. So don't always think that just because you think you made a mistake and it kind of got away from you and you get the soft edges and they kind of went away from you. Nah, just use it. Use it in a way that makes it even better. And look at how that looks now. You got the waves right behind it. Isn't that cool? Yeah, no, you just go with it. And tell people that you know exactly that's what you wanted. You don't have to have it always right. You know, we're watercolorists and we get happy accidents. Are great. You know, just getting these accidents happening that you don't know how you got it. That's probably why Sue doesn't know how she got the swirls. Sue Swirl, she probably got them some way, right? And we don't even know how she got them. Carol asked when I'm teaching on Saturdays in August. I'll be teaching this weekend, and then I'm not teaching the following weekend because I'll be in Buffalo, New York doing the workshop or the demonstration at the art store. And then I come back and I do the following weekend I am teaching, which is the 3rd week in August. And then not again until probably end of September because I'm gone most of September. So that's for my Saturday class, for anybody who's in my Saturday class. And check my newsletter. I will be putting all my newsletter in my newsletter, what's going on. All right, so we got the mountains here. We got this mountain here now. Look at how nice that turned out. We still got our rocks back. And so we got some trees going through here, right to the top of the cabin. Now let's put these really dark trees in here right now too. And these are ones that are in front. And again, they're not going to be green. I know it's hard, but that's just the way it is. I'm making them a dark blue. And so we're going to go in here and get this as the front ones. These are ones that are in front. I don't know if you remember, I do this kind of trick where I bend the brush in the opposite direction. And I can kind of make it look like a pine tree in the opposite direction. So what you're doing is you're pushing. And you can see that closer up. I'm kind of pushing the brush sideways. I kind of go like this and I push it. So I'm using the back of the brush and I'm pushing it and I get the edge to make a pine tree looking edge. So that's really dark. I'm going to combine that with this dark up there, bring it down, maybe do one really nice one right here. If you're a nervous wreck and you do a lot of shaking with your hands, this is a perfect time for you. If you're really nervous, see how nervous I am right now? I'm shaking. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. He's like, and that's the best way to make trees. Get nervous or drink coffee. Drink coffee, get really good trees. So we're going to come across here, make this dark. Okay, there we go. That's that side. Now let's go right into our cabin. So we got the background, got this side. We got some little shakiness over here for that tree. I'm going to brush my finger into it a little bit. All right, and then later on I can go up here when it's dry again and make some hard edges for the rock, the little boulders that are poking out over there. And if I need to make this a little bit darker over here, I can do that too, but I may leave it. Let's see. Let's go right to our cabin here. And so let's put our brushes here. Hey, one more toast here, guys. Cheers, cheers to the raspberry porter. That's actually pretty good. And so let's go in here now and get the cabin. And we're going to go with the dark first. We're going to do the whole side of the cabin at once. And you know what? On this one, I'm going to leave the light on in there. Like Motel 6, we'll leave the light on in the cabin, okay? So we're going to go around the window. We're going to go around the window. We're going to leave the light on in there. And like I said, I did push it back. And there's a lot of water in my brush, but I'm taking pigment. It doesn't matter what color I'm using at first here. It's going to go in there, wet it. Go down here and then just start floating some pigment in there. Float it in there really nicely. You know, get all the colors that I'm not worried about what color the cabin is. The cabin, of course, is like a rustic, you know, driftwood, brownish color. But look at how it's so not just one color. So you're going to put all those colors in there, and you're just going to float them and let them do their own thing. Let the pigment be pigment, and let it be granulating in there. So then the granulation will make it look, excuse me, it will make the wall look like it's texture. Go right here, make them dark underneath this eave right there. I usually make the eaves orange. Shapiro taught me that, to put anything underneath the eaves, make them orange. It makes the light from the below kind of warm up your eaves of your buildings and such. And so see, we already got the cabin on there, a happy little cabin. This is a nice happy little scene, a nice Bob Ross scene here. So a nice happy little cabin. And look at I'm keeping the light on this one too. So we'll just keep the light on. I mean, no, this is a different room. I'm sure it isn't, but it is in my mind here. So we're gonna put a little bit more blue on this side to make it look like it's farther back. And I'm gonna leave the top of the porch there a little bit lighter. So there, look at the shape of the cabin already, see? And I changed the windows a little bit. I put 5 in there, as I think I saw 6. And you know, an even number is always not a good number to have on something. So I made it 5. I made it 5 windows instead of 8. I know it says a stupid little thing, but you'd be surprised how making things odd numbered works so much better than even numbers. It's one of those things in design. It works better if you go with the odd number. So now I'm getting a brown, and I'm going to go up here and just do the top of the roof. And then I'm going to turn my page sideways here because I like to work like across the page. And so I'm just going to lean in here. And make this nice and dark. Nice and straight. Maybe I'll leave the top of the roof a little bit. It's really weird. It's a kind of an optical illusion, this picture. If you look at this picture, it's a kind of an optical illusion because the roof, this whole wall is one wall. It goes straight across, but because of the lines it has in it, it makes it an optical illusion like it is going back here, and it's not going back there because there's a shutter that goes across this board right here. But we can do whatever we want, so that's how come I made it so that it looks a little bit more realistic on what it actually is. So I did that with it. So then going with here some darks again, negative painting. All right, we gotta get the little smokestack, get that in there, the chimney. If you wanted to, you can even put the little smoke coming out of there, but they don't have that on. It's actually too warm in there right now. They got those lights on, and so this is dry. Yep. So we can put it in the railing right away. I'm gonna use my small rigger brush for that. You know, use a smart brush that best fits the purpose for what you're doing. Now, if you're drawing a line, get a liner brush. You know, don't try to do it with a brush that's too big. Get the brush that best fits the purpose of what you're doing. And so here it's just very simple. I'm just gonna make the line go across, and it's a very thin line. Oh, that's wet. Oh shoot. Oh well, see that? So we're gonna have to go back in there later. You never know, you know, it's always something. Now I'm gonna go in here. I know this is dry. This is at the window. So look at the lights are on in there. That means I should put them on this one though. So, but that we can't do anything about, so we're gonna make that one dark. Or we'll make it orange. That's why we'll make it a darker orange. Making the windows a little bit longer too than they are in the picture. Only because they look like little small little things. And then, unless you're doing it for the guy who owns this cabin and he wants it to look exactly like it, you do whatever you want. You make it look better than what the picture is. I always like to try to make the picture look more like a better painting. I don't need to follow exactly what's there. As an artist, I want to be able to make it look better than what it is as a photograph. All right, there's are my windows. And now the inside of the boats real quick. And over here, we're going to do this. I'm out of the picture, ain't I? I'm getting too comfortable here. And now I have the camera that is in when I'm teaching on the tabletop. I now have the camera also in this image, so you guys can see me. If that's not very important, though, I know. So now we're going to go in here and we're going to get some reflections of these pillars, these stairs. And one thing I don't have is this orange into the water, right? So let's get to that right away. Because this mountain would reflect in there, and I didn't do that yet. So let's go back in and get that orange that I was using. I'm using the, this is the permanent orange yellow. So I'm not using the brilliant orange because it doesn't have to be that orange. Brilliant orange is very brilliant. It's very bright, and so I'm not going to use that one in this for this case. I'm going to keep the light on in here, so I'm going to keep that in the water too. So it's down here. It's going to be light. See how that makes it reflect into the water? Water doesn't have color, you know, especially up in these kind of woods areas where it's, you know, pristine water. Now around where I live, yes, you're going to get a lot of green. But here in this neck of the woods, there's nothing. There's no color in the water, and so you're reflecting everything from what's above it. And so let's put that. I will put in there snow. Forgot who asked that, but we'll put in the snow. Good catch. You almost caught me. And so we'll go in here, and then we're gonna. This will be the snow. See, it's going to be not quite as white because it's not going to be that way. And always. Brushwork is always back and forth when you're doing water. See how I'm just doing the lines back and forth to make it look like water. Alright, so what else we got here? Straighten out my area here. Oh my gosh, look how dirty it is. Alright, so now, the last thing to do is do the reflections into the water. So this whole structure will be in the water, especially right here. So this will be dark, and so we're going to start it right about here. And I'm going to take it and the color of the water. What's the color of the water right there? Violet is what I was using. So let's go back in with the violet. And then I'll put the color, whatever the color is of the cabin itself. We'll put that in there. And so see my brushwork, it's going back and forth. It's not going up or down. I can sometimes do that when I'm doing a street scene and I put the water straight down. I can do that, but on this, what I want to do is I want to take and go back and forth with my brushes, and I'm trying to make very fine points on the edges, very fine, like sharp edges. And so I'm kind of coming down here, and I'm kind of trying to mimic the cabin upside down, and mimic the shape of the cabin upside down in line work that's going back and forth. Oh, did you hear the train? Listen for the train, it's going to be coming in a second. Hear that? There it is again. Now can you hear it rambling? Yeah, I can actually feel the ground shaking. That's how big, that's how close it is. And And so here we're going to go through here and get some of these, let me use my smaller 1/2-inch brush, because what I can do is I can go down here and see this line right here. I'm just going to bring it down and shift it back and forth. I don't want to just go straight down. You would do that if you wanted to make it look like it was like still water, but I don't want to do still water. Again, my teacher Irving Shapiro told me never do still water, because you never know if it's upside down or right side up. It just doesn't work that well when you do it that way. Now this is wet, so I'm getting these soft edges, which I kind of don't want. I kind of wanted this to be hard edged, so I'm going to go back into that in a second, and I'm going to try to get the hard edges back in there. And I'm going to go through across here. And now, of course, this is this color right here of the actual building. And then this is the post going down into the water. And then you go in this direction. And then the water itself could be darker down here too, just because the sky, it could be that color as the sky down here, just darker. So that was what? That was purple. So I'll use purple. And I'm going to stand up here for a second. Let me just get off my chair. Sorry about that. We're just going to go down here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of go across the bottom with a violet. And just kind of ripple across. I'm doing it on dry, so I'm going to get some of the texture of the paper as water, which is fine. You know, sometimes it's rippled like that. And okay, I think that looks a little bit better. Got the little boats there. And so basically all I have left is really fine details. Oh wait, we got the whole tree in the front here. What am I talking about here? Still got that to do. And what time is it? Oh, we still got 15 minutes. So we have plenty of time to finish it up. So what we're going to do is we are going to use a nice dark color. Super dark. I'm using black, violet, blue, and a little bit of cracked gold. It'll be a little bit of green, but it'll be more purpley green. Purpley, that's kind of, I'm going to take a little orange in there because it's a little bit too bright for me. So this is a really, so what I'm going to do here now is take in this corner, if you look at the picture, there's these pine trees, needles coming over in the front here. I'm going to kind of wisping, and I'm going to do that thing where I take my brush and I kind of hit it sideways. I point it and I poke it. I poke the actual, let me just do this on a piece of paper again for you guys to see. So closer up, if I take the brush and I kind of push it into the paper, and I'm bending the brush so that it gives me the basic pine needle look. See, I'm just kind of bending it and I'm pushing it forward. I'm pushing it forward like that. So that's one way of getting the pine needles to look like pine needles. Unless you just draw them in individually and stuff. And once it's wet up here, I don't want to just use one color either though. So I'm going to put a little blue in there. And I am going to paint some of the actual pine needles. I'm going to put them in with my rigger brush because I actually want them to be exactly a certain way. You know, so I'll go in there and I will just draw them in exactly the way I want them. Like the branch itself, maybe I'll take a branch, come down here, and then I'll use this other brush to create that shape. And some of this is just to get something in the foreground here. I kind of like that look in some of the paintings when you just get the foreground in here. Sometimes it doesn't work because it's sort of like it's kind of like postcardy, a way to make postcards. They have the thing way in front, but this one I think it'll work. I think it'll be okay. Put a couple of branches in there. And this has to be really a lot darker than that, so it doesn't look like it's the same plane. Like this is in front, that's in back behind it. So if that's too close, then it looks like it's the same thing. So make sure you don't make it look like the same thing. I'm gonna put a little light blue in here just to get a little bit of, and it's kind of opaque. Yes, it is kind of opaque, but it kind of gives it kind of a cool look. It's a blue spruce. It's a blue spruce tree, so it's got to have blue in it. So there we go. Not too much blue or green in this one. See? And look how much better it looks. Now this window, I come down here, there's a window, boom, reflection. So I'm putting the details in now for the last part. I'm just putting in details. I'm just gonna, this goes down, that window comes right about here. This window comes right about here. This one comes right about there. This one's out there. We got these little. We can put a couple of bigger reflections from this tree now. We can put them in here. See how they wisp away. So it gets kind of. I'm gonna darken that a little bit on that edge right there. I don't want to get it too light. All right, and I think this railing now is dry, and so I can get that window and everything done there, and we'll be done for another Thursday paint along. Thanks so much, guys, for posting these. I really enjoy watching what you guys are doing. I was telling that to people in class today. It's so neat to see what everybody does with the same exact picture. We're all using the same exact picture, and you guys are just creating your own thing. And I'm so happy that you guys are doing that you're creating your own thing. You don't have to always copy what I do, and it's okay. But to create your own thing and show me that you're learning is just, it's why I teach, basically. It's so neat to see that you're all getting so good. And that, when you get to a certain point where you know how to use the medium, then you have to just kind of watch your drawing. Number one, watch that drawing. It's always so important to get the drawing right. I notice that most of the things that I see wrong is that your drawing is off. And so just work on your drawing. I don't care if, like you said, if you trace it, I don't care. It has to get the drawing right. The drawing cannot be off because the drawing is number one. After that, then you can, there's other things that composition and all that kind of thing that has to be right, and the lights and dark pattern, you get that right. But drawing, get that right so that you don't have to worry about, because once you get that right, then you can go on to other things like the value pattern and making things look good and like what they are. I'm putting a couple of trees in here to make them a little bit bigger. A little shakiness in there. Putting this in here for the railings. See, I'm putting a couple of the railings in there. And now I'm going to put a couple of light posts in here. Not light post, lighter post, so that I'm going to take white and then come down here and just bring them into the water and then just reflect them into the water a little bit. And this one here, this looks like one should be in the corner here. And they should be kind of in with the orange look, because if that's what this is saying, that it's light, if you see the side, then make it the same color as the side of the building, because that would be light, right? And then one more reflection and I think we're done. I think we'll be running out of time. Almost close. So let's go, this goes down here. Oh, I forgot the window. Shoot. Let's see if I can get that back. There's the window. It's a little bit darker here. There's the window. I think I got it in there pretty good. It goes up, down. It almost comes down to the bottom anyway. So make that a little bit more blue. Do you have any questions? I haven't looked up for a while. Oh. What color did you use on the house? I was heating up pizza and missed that. I use orange. I use orange and a little bit of, let's see, I used orange and a little bit of violet and yellow. Pink, also pink. Pink and orange to make the oranges back here. Oh, now I'm hungry for pizza. Thanks, Carol. This was really good. Subject to paint, water, I need to work on. Okay, Sonia, work on your water and ask questions when you're, if you want to ask me questions after, I can always ask your questions. Email me on my website or in this post on this YouTube video in the comment section. Just put them in there too. I go back once in a while. It tells me when you ask a question in there, and so I'll answer them there too. And should I put shutters on this building? What do you think? I'm not sure. I should put shutters on there. Let's see what happens if I put shutters on there on this side. Okay, that's getting too fancy though. All right, that's it. Let's take the tape off, and for another beautiful Thursday. And like I said, next Thursday I will be away, and so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do the paint along in the studio there, or if I'm going to do it plein air or if I can do it at all. We'll see about the Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff. So check my newsletter and check out my, if I do put something up there, it will be in my YouTube channel where it always is at, and I'll give you the address and all that. And so just check that out to make sure if I am or am not doing one. And so this one actually turned out, I think, a little bit nicer than the one this afternoon. I just like the colors much better. You know me in green, right? So let's see. Here we got this one, and here we have the one this afternoon. Both are okay. I like the darker one better. All right, guys. So until next week, or until next time you do the paint along, we'll see you guys.